Hello, today's dram is from GlenDronach and it's the Parliament. It's a very, very special whisky. And as you can see from the bottle, I have been enjoying it. So let me pour some, well, a little of what remains and tell you a bit more about it. Now, GlenDronach is a distillery that I was introduced to by the very wonderful Matthew at the Good Spirits Company in Glasgow. I went into the shop and had a good old mosey around, and I asked him what he felt I should buy from the shelves, and he suggested the 15-year-old from GlenDronach, the very wonderful Revival, which seems to be very difficult to get these days. So I bought a bottle and loved it, and I tasted the Parliament for the first time at the Whisky Exchange show last October. I was blown away by it, and I'm very pleased to tell you that the lovely Mr. Moon bought me a bottle when we were on our whisky holiday last November. So I could just sit here and talk to you for absolutely ages because the nose is so rich. It's full of sherried fruit and such toffee. It's absolutely delicious. But of course what we want to do is actually drink it. So here goes. Now, it's such a delicious whisky that you almost just want to hold it in your mouth just to keep the moment going forever and ever and ever. It's soft and voluptuous and very, very alluring. But it invites you into a bigger experience than you're expecting. Now, all that was on the first sip. On the second sip, what I get is this enormous depth of sherry, because all GlenDronachs are actually matured in sherry casks. And it's almost as though it's grown up, and all the characteristics that we find in younger whiskies have come together to create this wonderful, wonderful, elegant, assured and interesting person. That is obviously that I'm giving this a character, because it is, well, it's so multi-layered, and now the nose, as it's opened, has altered and developed and become much, much deeper, but it is all about sherry at this stage. Yes, there's toffee, and yes, there's all sorts of things, and I could go into the sort of the traditional tasting banter of all sorts of different flavours. But let me tell you, this is like the most wonderfully crafted meal where your steak has been married to the most beautiful sauce. Your fish is with the creamiest, herbiest sauce you can imagine. The vegetables are just with it completely. This is elegance, it's complete, it's stitched up, and actually it's whiskey. But it's whiskey of such richness that you very seldom see. I'm just going to have another sip. There is such a deep sherry, a dry but wonderfully Oloroso type flavour from this. And I'm almost afraid that by adding a little water, some of the magic will be lost. Certainly it opens up the nose, and the depth of that wonderful sherry cask isn't quite there. Oh, it makes it easier, but it makes it slightly less the full shilling. If you like, it's the lower house of Parliament now, not the upper house. It is an absolute treat. It's certainly a whisky for after dinner. It is so rich, it's so mature, and it is absolutely delightful. You know, if I had cask strength of this, I don't think it would deliver the same amount of pleasure as this bottle does. This is 48% proof, So it's still a very, very big whisky, but it is delightful. Yes, for me, it's definitely a whisky to drink without water. I'm not saying I don't like it now. I'm saying that I added the water. I suspected it would take it back to being less of a treat. But it's still delightful. But I feel that if you're going to buy yourself a bottle of the GlenDronach Parliament, why not just enjoy it as it is? No ice, no water, no nothing. Well, other than jolly good friends. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's certainly worth exploring GlenDronach. And you know, despite having added the water, I do think I'll finish this. Cheers.